Hello and welcome. This is the Market Wrap. I am Agam, Vakil. We've seen further strength in the benchmark indices, and even though some of it was given away in the last 1 hour of trade, we still ended the day with gains. And well, with that, the Nifty has also registered a sixth straight day of gains. And perhaps what is more important and positive is the Nifty closes above the 10,000 mark, and that, of course, is the clear, well, level, that psychological level that everyone was watching out for. Let's talk about those gainers then. We have Bajaj Finance along with Kotak Mahindra Bank as the key constituents were contributing to the Nifty's advances in today's day of trade, along with Mahindra and Mahindra, Nestle, ICICI Bank, and State Bank of India. ICICI Bank and State Bank of India are some of the heavyweights which came through to take the Nifty higher by around 0.8 of a percentage point. Some amount of weakness in Z Entertainment, possibly profit taking, NTPC, Bharti Infratel, and Wipro, among others. But once again, those which gained were seeing a lot more in terms of momentum as against losers. In the broader markets, once again, the picture isn't very different. Advanced decline ratio, very similar to what we saw yesterday. 3 gainers for 2 losers on the NSE 500. We have Trident locked in an upper circuit of 20%. South Indian Bank, Overseas Bank, though these stocks are penny stocks considering their price at less than 10 rupees a share. But Chalet Hotels was another important one. Teamlease is not very liquid a counter, but well advanced 12% all the same. DB Corp, IDBI Bank, and Arvind Fashions, among others. In fact, there are a whole list of companies out there which are locked in a 10% upper circuit. We have weakness in Adani Power, India Mart, Intermesh, Piramal Enterprises looking at about a profit taking, as was the case for GSW Energy. Nippon Life India also eventually closed the day with losses of around 3.5%. Interestingly, especially considering it did move at one point in time, it was around the 280 rupees per mark. But on that note, let me get in our market attorney Niraj for his thoughts on
Yeah, Agam. Okay, let me just try and come in. I guess the whole idea is to try and do a small conversation around what the markets could do, and Agam gave his thoughts on what the individual things did. Now, my take out here is very simple, right? You can see around the world that the risk-on mood is prevalent. Global markets are rallying very, very strongly. As we shut shop, Europe is doing very well. Dow futures were in the green. So the risk-on rally is right out there. In fact, the oil, which is now about the $40 per barrel mark, is the best barometer, right? You know when oil is starting to make gains, that people are starting to feel a bit more confident, and that shows in the way crude oil does. I mean, it's a bit of a chicken and an egg situation as to what goes first and what follows. But essentially, whichever way it is, oil rallying is actually seen as a positive. And I think from an Indian markets perspective, we've seen that the rural economy linked stocks are now starting to show strength. So we had financials for the better part of the last few days. I was talking yesterday about how some of the smaller financials would gain, and for a better part of the day today, Shriram Transport Finance, LIC Housing Finance, etc. were gaining. Came off a little bit in the last few minutes of trade. The key is rural economy linked stocks are showing strength. M&M, we already spoke about. Some seed companies are doing well. Some agrochem companies related to the rural side are doing well. So that entire bucket seems to be very, very strongly placed right now. And I think people should, I mean, at least people want to trade on the long side, could look at that. Frankly, and just as a normal screen reading, while the strength still exists, the risk reward in a lot of financials and the large ones may not be as strong and potent as it was 5 days ago. So I think people need to be mindful of that.
Well, before I talk about the benchmarks, and of course the benchmarks have seen a lot of traction, I want to pull up 2 of those top gainers on the Nifty. First one is Kotak Mahindra Bank, because that's seen a 16% increase in open interest on a day where we've already seen it move above 1400. Of course, it didn't close above that, but it did move on an intraday basis. And the other one is Bajaj Finance, which continues to gain significant amount of momentum. Who would have known it would have gained so much? And of course, it's been a good day of trade for that one too. But to talk about very quickly on the benchmark, as I have been talking about over the previous few days, there's a little bit of more writing coming through around the 10,200, 10,300 calls. Should we see the benchmark show more strength, all those calls will be taken out, as was the case last week when there was a lot of writing around the 10,000 call, and a lot of those traders found themselves in making losses. But once again, we'll be watching out for how Qs span out, especially from the bar copy. And I'll be watching out for the 9,900 and 9,000 to see whether or not, and if at all, how much more accumulation has come through to indicate that in the next few days there could be, if not strength, at least some amount of consolidation.
Yeah. So, viewers, just a couple of things. I mean, I think in the last few days, two or three things which are slightly different have happened, by the way. One, the number of WhatsApp forwards talking about this stock will do well, or this, there seems to be a deal here, a deal there, are now all going up. You've got to be mindful that when such a scenario comes in, markets typically reach a bit of a tipping point. So that is part one. And part two, and more importantly, just that the mood sentiment right now is not spoiled. Frankly, even on a day like this, wherein we came off in the second half of trade, if you just look at the BSE small cap index, the market anyway is positive, but look at the BSE small cap index, and the gainers and the losers tell you a story. The top 10 gainers in the BSE small cap space had gains of double digit gains, 10, 15, 20%. The top losers, the biggest loser was Mangalore Chemical, down about 5% in the small caps. So even the broader end of the spectrum is participating. FIs are buying, volumes are decent. The going is good for now. Just that, I repeat, the risk reward. You need to be mindful of that if you're initiating fresh trade.
Absolutely. Well, on that note, Niraj, I'd like to thank you for giving us that perspective.
Agam.
Well, viewers, don't go anywhere. There's lots more lined up. Stay tuned to BloombergQuint, and we will keep bringing you more. Light, guys.